On the debate stage, Ron DeSantis denounced warmed over corporatism and accused his opponent of ballistic podiatry, shooting oneself in the foot.
The Florida governor drew backlash last year for apparently warning fellow Republicans against becoming listless vessels, following former President Donald Trump, a favorite phrase that few people besides DeSantis seem to use.
And on the campaign trail, he speaks the language of the online right with unusual fluency, whipping through terms like central bank digital currency, CBDC, environmental, social and governance investing, ESG, and shadow banning.
We will reconstitutionalize the executive branch, and we will bring this administrative state to heel once and for all, he declared at his campaign kickoff speech in Iowa.
DeSantis's at times esoteric political vocabulary reflects who he is as a presidential candidate. Wonkish, cerebral and attuned to the leading edges of a conservative war on woke, which animates the GOP base but can fall flat elsewhere.
He is less inclined to make small talk about his personal life than strike up a conversation about policy, say, a recent Supreme Court decision with implications for pork production, which he once brought up while grilling with Iowa Republicans.
It also accentuates his stylistic differences with rivals Trump and Nikki Haley in a GOP presidential primary that has often revolved on personality and presentation rather than policy.
DeSantis has been awkward in some one-on-one interactions with voters where other candidates might have seized a chance to show their personalities.
Trump, the heavy favorite to win the Republican nomination, uses simple and harsh language that has helped him convince many working-class conservative voters he is also an everyman who identifies with them, even though his name is associated with lavish wealth.
DeSantis, in contrast, pitches a Trump-like agenda with lofty metaphors, the sacred fire of liberty, and the call to reconstitutionalize the government, which he mentions frequently.
Where DeSantis denounces transgenderism and woke gender ideology, Haley, a former UN ambassador and South Carolina governor, takes a softer, more conversational approach that's attracted more moderate voters, appealing to girl dads about the importance of keeping boys out of female sports.
To some supporters, this is all part of DeSantis's appeal. They want Trump with brains, or they want hardline stances on issues they say other Republicans neglect, interested in someone who shares their alarm at vax mandates and what DeSantis calls the biomedical security state.
While many Republicans have zeroed in on culture wars around race and gender, DeSantis most mirrors the language of conservative activists, warning about the perils of cultural Marxism, woke ideology, and social credit scores.
DeSantis gets applause on the trail as he ridicules acronyms like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which he says should instead stand for discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination.
I like his attitude against wokeness, Tim Donaldson, a retired police officer in his 60s, said at a DeSantis event last year, suggesting that the Florida governor was more versed in the issue than Trump.
To other voters, however, that kind of language is confusing, or a turnoff.
He's really focused on a lot of cultural issues, and maybe not what I think is really important, said Claire Funston, a 24-year-old factory worker who attended a Haley event in Spirit Lake, Iowa.
A registered Republican who calls herself independent, she said she cares most about the economy and liked Haley best.
At a town hall in Waukee, Iowa this month, just after the resignation of Harvard's president, DeSantis riffed longer than usual on the changes he's made to colleges in Florida, especially a small liberal arts school that he said was now modeled after a conservative Michigan school called Hillsdale College.
Returning to Clive on Thursday just ahead of the Iowa caucuses, DeSantis denounced the ESG cartel.